With a new year starting, I'm hoping that we can forget about last year's picks and start over, starting with Wild Card Weekend. Welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to another Pick'em edition of Believers Talk, where we pick every single game this season. Not only do we pick them straight up, but we also pick them against the spread. Again, my name is Joe. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment in the comment section. What do you think is going to happen this wild card weekend? Of course, 4 games on the slate. You're talking about the Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans. Then you're talking about the Titans at the New England Patriots. Sunday, you got 2 games as well, both NFC games. You got the Vikings traveling to New Orleans to play the New Orleans Saints, and then the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Philadelphia, winning the NFC East last week to play the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, guys, I pick every single week. Not only do I pick them straight up, I pick against the spread. So all season, all 256 games, we've been doing this. Did not do as well as I would have hoped during the regular season. If you've been following me all season, last week I said there's no way I'm going to lose 8 games. There's no way I'm going to get 200 losses, and guess what? I got this close. I almost did, finishing 9-7 straight up last week, making my record 157 and 99 for the season. Against the spread, actually doing worse, finishing 7-9. So that makes my season 138 and 118 against the spread. Again, hoping I would have done better, and maybe we'll do better next season. Maybe we'll do better in the playoffs, but those were my records this season. First year doing this, maybe we can just do a little more research before we do these videos and get better each and every year. I appreciate all you guys joining me for these videos, and guys, Happy New Year. With the new year ringing in, it means a new start for everybody, and for my new start, I want to start over with these pick'em rankings. I want to do better for you guys and for myself as I continue to bet these money lines and not doing so hot. So we'll see how we do in the future, starting this weekend with Wild Card Weekend, guys. So we first go with the Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans, guys. Our Buffalo Bills, the first NFL game of the 2020 year. So that's something to be excited about. We'll get to see the Buffalo Bills both on ESPN and right here on YouTube. Make sure, if you guys are not sure how you watch the game, you don't want to listen to Booger McFarland, call the game. You can tune in right here on Believers Talk, and we'll have that game for you this Saturday as the Houston Texans play the Buffalo Bills. Currently, the Houston Texans sit at a 2.5-point favorite. That line has actually gone down a little bit as they started as 3-point favorites. So that means that there's a lot of betting going towards the Buffalo Bills to move that line to 2.5. The Buffalo Bills have not won a single playoff game since 1995. Remember, we did have that 18-year playoff drought from 1999 to 2017. In 2017, we lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. In 1999, some craziness happened that we don't need to speak about in the wild card playoff game, and we ended up losing that game as well. So the Buffalo Bills have not won a playoff game since 1995. So we're looking to get off that schneid. You want to talk about droughts? That's the next drought that the Buffalo Bills want to get rid of, if you will. For the Houston Texans, the Texans have found themselves in the playoffs quite a few times over the past few seasons with very little playoff success. Bill O'Brien, in his 4 playoff games, is only 1-3, winning 1 wildcard game against the Oakland Raiders in 2017, but has not made it past wild card weekend. In fact, again, he only has that 1 win. In fact, the Houston Texans have never won a divisional playoff game. The Houston Texans are 3-5 all time in the playoffs. All 3 wins come wild card weekend. No divisional playoff wins. So they're looking to have a little more playoff success as well as we enter this season. And guys, I will be previewing this game tomorrow. Every Thursday, you know I go live, so make sure you join me for that game. If you haven't already subscribed, after you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. It will let you know when we go live for that preview tomorrow. I look forward to that preview of Wild Card Weekend between our Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. A lot to get into. We're not going to get into it here today. I'm just going to give you who I think is going to win this game. Again, the Texans, 2.5-point favorites, but you know I am not going to start the playoffs going against our Buffalo Bills. Give me the Bills to win this game, and give me the Buffalo Bills then to beat a 2.5-point spread. I think out of all the AFC playoff opponents the Buffalo Bills could have faced, this is probably the best matchup for the Buffalo Bills heading into things. I know we're coming in on a 2-game losing streak, and that stinks. I hate that. But the Texans also lost last week to the Tennessee Titans, so neither team really coming in with much as far as momentum is concerned. Both teams relatively healthy. The Texans will get J.J. Watt back in this game, and that might add an emotional lift, obviously, for this team, especially with this game being in Houston. But I like this Buffalo Bills team to win this game, that defense to shut down Deshaun Watson and this Houston Texans offense that's been a little Jekyll and Hyde this season. Really been hot and cold, find times when they're very successful, and then they find times where they have a hard time getting it going. So give me the Buffalo Bills to win this game. Give me the Buffalo Bills to cover, to beat a 2.5-point spread. They move on to that Saturday night game, guys. This is the first time that the New England Patriots are playing in a wild card game since 2009. That's right, it's been 10 years since the New England Patriots have played wild card weekend. And if you recall, they lost that game. 2009, they go into Baltimore and they lose to the, they play the Baltimore Ravens and they lose to the Ray Lewis-led Baltimore Ravens, and that was the last time they play Wild Card Weekend. In fact, in 8 appearances in Wild Card Weekend, the New England Patriots are 4-4. They don't have the best, the bright, the shiniest wild card record because most of the time, again, they're not playing Wild Card Weekend. You think about the successful teams the New England Patriots have had over the past 2 decades, they normally don't play Wild Card Weekend, so you don't see them all that much, and so they can't really improve that win-loss total. But in 8 games played Wild Card Weekend, the New England Patriots overall in their history 4-4. Not exactly the greatest record going into this weekend against the Tennessee Titans. If you look at the Tennessee Titans, a little bit better in Wild Card Weekend. We're not going to talk about all their Wild Card playoff games either, but they're 8-5 overall in Wild Card Weekend, 13 overall Wild Card Weekend games, and they have a pretty good record. And if you look at the matchup, this isn't that bad of a matchup for the Tennessee Titans. You talk about ball control with Derrick Henry. You talk about Ryan Tannehill knowing the New England Patriots pretty well because of his time in the AFC East. So he knows the type of team that he's probably going to play against. And you talk about a guy in Mike Vrabel who played for Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick does not have the best record against either players or coaches that formerly were under Bill Belichick. So you look at these things. The Patriots are 4.5-point favorites. This game is in New England. And so you just have to ask yourself who is going to win this game. Obviously, as Bills fans, we would love to see New England out of the playoffs before the Buffalo Bills, and I do think this is a good matchup for the Tennessee Titans. I think this game might be close, but New England at home in the playoffs, they're going to be a little angry that they're here wild card week. Remember, they lost a chance for a bye week last week, losing to Miami in Gillette Stadium, so they still have a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth. I think they're going to come out a little angry and get ready to win this game, and win this game by a comfortable margin. I think that the New England Patriots win this game. Titans, not the type of team that can come back from a big deficit, so if they get down early, it might be trouble for Tennessee, and that might be what happens here. Give me the Patriots to win this game, and give me the Patriots to cover a 4.5-point spread in a game that might be close. I picked Miami to lose last weekend by a lot of points, and we saw what happened, but I just think the Patriots will come out with that chip on their shoulder and have something to prove, and they'll prove it against the Titans. And we'll see what happens the following week. Now they'll have to be on the road going into Kansas City if they win this game. Then you go on to Sunday, the NFC slate of games. You talk about the first game, the Minnesota Vikings at the New Orleans Saints. Remember the last time these two teams met in the playoffs? That's when we had the miracle in the Meadowlands. Stephon Diggs catching that ball in the final seconds. His coaching staff right there on the sideline yelling at him to get out of bounds, get out of bounds. New Orleans Saints guy comes in, tries to undercut him, misses the tackle, actually tackles his own defender who might have made a tackle on Diggs, and Diggs has a clear path to the end zone, a walk-off, the only time there's been a playoff walk-off win in the playoffs, and that happened last year in the 2 years ago in the divisional round of the playoffs. The miracle in the Meadowlands. Saints looking for a little bit of revenge now. This game in New Orleans, we all know how tough it can be to play in New Orleans. So I think the Saints are I remember that game, right? And we talk about the last two seasons, the Saints getting booted from the playoffs in weird ways, to say the least. Again, 2 years ago, you had the miracle in the Meadowlands, and then last season, of course, with that pass interference call that wasn't called, that ended up costing, or one of the reasons why the Saints ended up losing that game. Still remember that the Saints had a chance in overtime, unable to get the job done last year against the Rams. So you look at this game, the Saints are 8-point favorites. I think in the playoffs, 8 points is a lot. So give me the Vikings to cover an 8-point spread. I think the Vikings have a good, solid team. But give me the Saints to win this game. The Saints have a great team. The Saints have a team that potentially could make it all the way to the Super Bowl this season. So give me the Saints to win this game. Give me the Vikings to cover that 8-point spread. Then you move on to that last game of Sunday, the Seahawks at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles winning the division just last week with a 9-7 record. This is one of those few instances where the wild card home team is not the favored team. The Seahawks 2-point favorites going into Philadelphia. Remember, the Seahawks had a chance to have a bye week themselves, losing to the 49ers last week on Sunday Night Football, losing their chance to win the NFC West, and losing their chance to get a bye week heading into the playoffs. So the Seahawks have to play. Not only do the Seahawks have to play, more than likely they're going to spend the whole playoffs on the road if they plan on making it far in this playoffs. Last time a division winner that was 8-8, 9-7 went to the playoffs and was an underdog were the Seattle Seahawks when they went up against the New Orleans Saints in Seattle. Everyone probably remembers that game. Marshawn Lynch with a huge run in that game. I think he broke every single Saints tackler, a tackle for every single player on that play. They said that the crowd noise after that play was read on the Richter scale. Like, it was able to be read, like that's how loud they got. That actually shook the ground underneath them. Not sure if that's true or not, but that's the rumor, at least around here. So it wasn't all that long ago that the Saints were in the position the Eagles were in. I think the Saints are going into this game with a little bit too much confidence. This Eagles team has been playing pretty well the last few weeks. Carson Wentz has put this Eagles team on their back, and the Eagles have been playing playoff football for the past 4 weeks. And for that reason, I'm going to put up an upset here. I'm going to say that the Philadelphia Eagles actually in Lincoln Financial Field win this game, beat the Seattle Seahawks, and beat a 2-point spread. So I'm going to go through these games again, but that's the upset, I think, of the week. Obviously, a lot of people going into this game thinking Seattle has this thing won. Seattle and the Philadelphia Eagles played earlier this year, and it was a pretty tight game. They couldn't stop Russell Wilson on the ground, but ever since then, the Eagles' rush defense has been playing a lot better. And so if Russell Wilson cannot beat them on the ground like he did last time they played, I think this opens up chances for the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. So give me the Eagles to win this game, and that means give me the Eagles to beat a 2-point spread. So that means on Saturday, I have the Bills over the Texans. I have the Bills winning the game. I have the Bills beating a 2.5-point spread. And on Saturday night, I have the Patriots beating the Tennessee Titans, I should say, and covering a 4.5-point spread. On Sunday, I have the Saints beating the Vikings. I have the Vikings covering an 8-point spread in that one. And then on Sunday, late game, I have the Eagles upsetting the Seattle Seahawks and beating a 2-point spread. So those are my picks this week. Again, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think the Patriots have a chance to lose this game against the Titans on Saturday? Do you think the Eagles have a chance to win against the Seahawks on Sunday? Again, let me know in the comment section, guys. If you haven't subscribed to Billievers Talk, we have you covered with all Buffalo Bills and Buffalo sports news. Billievers Talk teaming up with BewareTheStampede.com all season, and we're going to have a great partnership again in 2020. Also teaming up with Hashtag Sports. Mario and Paul do a great job over at Hashtag, so make sure you check out their channel as well. And then check it out here Saturday as the Buffalo Bills go up against the Houston Texans in Wild Card Weekend. We'll have you covered right here on Billievers Talk, so make sure you join me on YouTube. Also, join us on Sportscaster. We'll have you covered there as well. So again, join the conversation. Join Bills Mafia. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Wild Card Weekend. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as I preview the game between the Texans and the Bills, and it will be a good time. So I look forward to seeing you all soon. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you all stayed safe. Enjoy your pork and sauerkraut today. I'll talk to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.